Afternoon, colleagues. For those of you who might not know me, I'm Shannon O'Shea. I'm the team leader for Public Partner Advocacy Visibility in the SDGs in the Public Partnerships Division, PPD. And I'm really excited for our presentation today. And I want to just take a couple of minutes to share a little bit about this, what I think is a very innovative internship program and what it means to me. So when the SDGs were first being negotiated and eventually adopted several years ago, there was a phrase that emerged, and I tend to think of it as the unofficial slogan of the SDGs. And that's the phrase, leave no one behind. And what that means practically is that our work to improve health systems or education or social protection or ending violence against children means that it must reach every child, especially the most marginalized and excluded. But what I think leave no one behind also means is that we need to reach out to people beyond the usual actors who typically engage with the UN. And what better place to begin than our own backyard? New York City, the home to the UN, a global and diverse city with over 8 million people, 1.75 million of whom are under the age of 18. And despite the fact that the United States is a high-income country, there are significant disparities that exist in the US and in the city, including unequal access to the highest quality education, the best paying jobs, and other opportunities. And the UN system is not immune to this challenge. Understandably, we often require certain educational or experiential thresholds to work at the UN as a staff member or even as an intern. And this can sometimes shut out talented and passionate young people because they haven't come from a more traditional background or pathway. And this internship program aims to bridge that gap. Our internship started out as an experiment and kind of a passion project. And in the PPD Advocacy Hub, we were thinking about how can we apply this ethos of leave no one behind to our own daily work. And I'm gonna have our partners, Gigi and Kathy, just introduce themselves in a few seconds. But what we did to get this idea off the ground was to partner with two local organizations, the KITE and the Center for Community Alternatives, who both work on the front lines of issues of social justice and building skills and opportunities for people, including young people, who have been or are presently incarcerated. Our interns, Brianna, Ari, Carl, Joelle, Caitlin, James, Darren, Tuki, and Keem, have faced challenges in their lives, but their talents in the arts, music, poetry are also very evident. And as they've learned about the Sustainable Development Goals over the last several months, they are concerned with the state of the world and the challenges faced by their own communities, which directly relate to the global goals. Each of them has done research and worked on an artistic project relating to a goal of their choosing, with our students particularly focused on SDG 8, decent work, SDG 13, climate change, and SDG 16, peace and justice. They also have some ideas for what governments, the UN, and other decision makers can or should do to make progress on the goals. I've been really inspired by their honesty and their ideas on these topics, and I hope that you will be as well. And before we get started, I would just like to invite the internship coordination team, Gigi, Kathy, and Isabel, to just say hello and introduce themselves. So Isabel, why don't we start with you?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Isabel, and for the last year or so, I've been an intern with the Advocacy Hub with Shannon and the PPD. I've worked on a number of projects during my time here, but by far my favorite has been developing this internship program. I'm always impressed by the interns' ideas, their creative work, and their hopes for a better world, and they've put so much work into these projects, so thank you all for being here to support them today. Over to you, Gigi or Kathy.
Hi. I think I'm gonna echo here for a second, so we're gonna do something with the sound in order to talk. Give us 1 second. Can you? Okay. This is why we work with young people, because they know how to work these things. So Well, I'm Gigi. I'm the founder of the Kite program, and we have Kathy here. She's also with us from CCA, who has been a big partner in getting the interns as well connected with UNICEF. This is our third cohort, and we're really excited. The Kite program itself is rooted in storytelling. We work in facilities across the city and in the community, and in many ways, art is storytelling. It is storytelling. So to be able to talk about the sustainable development goals with the interns and learn about what they are and how UNICEF plays a big role in making things more sustainable on the earth with the interns has been really great. So I'm really excited about this one. I have been saying it all day, like, this is so exciting. Like the third one, and you guys have done amazing. They have put a lot of work in this. They've showed up not only to our weekly meetings online, and everybody knows that the young people are over Zoom right now, but they still come. And they've been also coming on site to talk about these things, and you could really feel their passion. So I really appreciate our cohorts at UNICEF for keeping this together and helping us learn as well.
Thanks, Gigi. Kathy, did you want to say hello?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. We're super excited. And CCA is super excited to be part of this as well. And go team, go interns. That's all.
Great. Thanks, Kathy. Isabella is going to help me with the slides. I know that there were a few last minute changes to the order, so apology in advance if I don't have the right order, but I believe that we are starting with Brianna, and she's going to be talking to us about climate. And just a reminder to our interns, say hello, introduce yourself, tell us your name, what part of the city you're from, and anything else you want to share before you talk about your project. So Brianna, over to you.
Hi, my name is Brianna. I'm 15 years old and I'm from New York. I'm proud to be a part of the Unusual Internship. It's has opened my eyes to bigger topics that we're talking about or don't know enough about to do anything about it. In my project, I represent an hourglass with Antarctica melting on top and showing basically how we're destroying everything and causing pollution. And we're just killing ourselves in the long run. Some research I've made that may sound crazy to some of you. Our ice caps are melting in Antarctica that contain a lot of viruses and bacteria, and we're slowly getting more and more exposed towards them, and that can cause more. That can probably cause us to be in quarantine even more. My recommendation for people in power is to prevent buying disposables and plastics by raising taxes on plastics and disposables, and use that money raised to donate to climate change research. I would also encourage people to use less energy throughout their day. I try to unplug anything in my house or I'm not using it. And also a big one is stop littering. I think it's important for UNICEF to listen to young people, because even though we're young, we have knowledge, and us young people have more connection to others and can spread the word faster since our generation is bigger in communication. People in power can help us because adults have platforms we can share.
Great, thank you so much, Brianna. And I loved your point. It's an important point and a scary point that as the ice caps are melting, there can be diseases that we haven't been exposed to as humans for hundreds, if not thousands of years, that we might not be equipped to deal with. So I think it really demonstrates this interconnectivity between all of the SDGs, that climate change is not just an issue for the environment, it's a health issue, it's a safety issue, it's all of those things. And I think that your artwork is also very poignant, and it gives that sense of urgency. Time is running out. We're seeing time slip away. So it's a really compelling call to action, and action right now. Thank you so much for that. I believe that we are next moving on to Ari, who has an amazing musical performance on the issue of peace and justice. So Ari, over to you.
I'm Ariana. I'm 15 and I'm from Brooklyn. Being a part of this internship means being able to be heard and having an opinion and not getting judged. Everybody gets to be heard here. We don't criticize anyone, make them feel bad for what they say. Even if someone's struggling with the ideas, we still help them. Gigi helps, Kathy helps. We're all a team, basically. I like how we could just talk about everything and state our opinions and be how we are. We all embrace ourselves in different ways. We embrace ourselves through our talents. I chose sustainable development goal number 16, peace and justice. I wanted to do peace and justice because ever since I was young, I had thoughts about why the world is the way it is. Everything on the news is negative more than positive. I feel like sometimes we just need to relax and meditate before we react to things. So I feel like if we had more peace and justice, the world would be smooth and better. We'd be doing great, but conflict gets in the way. I chose to make a song because that's a way to get in people's heads. A lot of people you listen to is not always positive, but maybe if they heard positive music from a young person, it would change their minds. A lot of people my age rap. If they hear something different, maybe they'll think they should follow that. The reason why I wanted to write my song, like I said, is to influence people. In the song, we talk about ways we could strive for peace and justice, situations of violence, and how you should put your guns down and stuff like that. That's how I feel about it. My perspective on violence and how we could bring peace and justice in the world. For people in power, I would say to bring more peace and justice, we should start doing positive things. We could do something like giveaways and things like before school, like book bags and stuff, because I know that everybody doesn't have it. Also, if you're getting into a conflict with someone, think before you speak. It's usually a misunderstanding. Something little could turn into something big. Doing positive things and making a movement is a way to bring more peace and justice into the world. Having people from all ages and all races in the movement will bring more peace and justice in the world. When they see everybody coming together in different age groups, it grabs their attention. Just because we're young doesn't mean we don't go through things. A lot of people think young people have it easy, but they know how it felt to be young once too. It's always good for older people to help guide younger people into the right path and set a good example for younger people. So yeah, that's it.
Isabel, you might need to add the volume for the video to play first. All right. There's a setting in Zoom. I think it might be up at the top in the options. We had wanted to do this in person, of course, and I attempted and failed to get visitors into UNICEF House. So please bear with us.
What's up, everyone? I just want to say let's stick together. And let's do better. Cause at the end of the day, all we got is each other. My heart is broken into so many pieces. I don't know, I feel like the world has defeated me. But I'ma keep trying and I'ma keep striving. Even though so many people close to me be dying, I just be crying, asking God why. Wondering if tomorrow I'ma be alive. You know this world crazy, so many people shady. They wanna kill people, but that's not right. How will they feel if someone tried to take their life? People need to understand wrong from right, and I'm not going nowhere without a fight. Yeah, I'ma change the world today or tonight. I gotta change the world, I gotta do something, cause everybody else ain't gonna do nothing. They just gonna sit here and act like everything okay. That's not right. Everybody need to find a way so kids could go outside, have fun and play with their parents, knowing that everything is safe. And I don't care if somebody feels some way. I'm just a kid and I don't wanna live this way. People got time to curse, but got no time to pray. And I hope y'all listening to everything I say. Yeah, everything I say. And I hope y'all listening to everything I say. Please tell me why this world's so violent. People need to speak up and stop being silent. Please tell me why this world's so violent. People need to speak up and stop being silent. Please tell me why this world's so violent. People need to speak up and stop being silent. Please tell me why this world's so violent. People need to speak up and stop being silent. It's sad to hear about little kids dying, and everywhere you look, you see mamas crying. This world is just really terrifying. You can't even walk down the street with a smile, and you gotta be careful, cause people be wildin'. Yeah, but guess what? I'ma change this world. You know I worked hard for what I earned. All you gotta do is sit back, listen, and learn, cause you don't wanna be done down and burned. Yeah, Black Lives Matter. We just always look as attackers, but y'all be the ones that mainly attack us. Yeah, and that's really sad to me. That's not how things should be. It shouldn't. Judge yourself one of their identity. Come on now, have some empathy. Tired of hearing about the supremacy. And yes, I do take it offensively. My parents taught me how to move independently. So yup, I'm striving for the better me. Please tell me why this world's so violent. People need to speak up and stop being silent. Please tell me why this world's so violent. People need to speak up and stop being silent. Please tell me why this world's so violent. People need to speak up and stop being silent. Please tell me why this world's so violent. People need to speak up and stop being silent. Nobody wanna see you make it. Jealousy is real. They be wanting what you have, so they decide to kill. Like, man, why you wanna take my life? I'm only so young and I just wanna live my life. Like, come on, you know that ain't right. So you telling me you gon' take that 25 to life? He's saying put your gun down, please don't shoot. I never really understood why this world's so cruel. And look, so many people dying, and y'all just leave all the mamas crying. And y'all politicians steady lying. You never know who to trust, is terrifying. I'ma speak up, yeah, I'ma break the silence. We need to stick together and stop fighting. And I know that my words is inspiring. Peace and justice, that's what I'm striving. People should get on this type timing. Stop the foolishness, stop being conniving. And I mean it, no, I ain't lying. I just wanna see more people surviving. Please tell me why this world's so violent. People need to speak up and stop being silent. Please tell me why this world's so violent. People need to speak up and stop being silent. Please tell me why this world's so violent. People need to speak up and stop being silent. Please tell me why this world's so violent. People need to speak up and stop being silent.
Ari, that was absolutely amazing. I don't know if you can see the chat, but everyone is talking about how powerful your lyrics are. What I really love about what you have to say is you could have easily gone in a darker way with the message and just talked about all the problems and challenges, and you want to spread such a positive message and talk about what are very difficult issues, but in a way that is about empathy and about meditation and think before you speak and don't assume the worst in people. Sometimes it's just a misunderstanding. And I think that that is not just a good message for the SDGs, but a good message for human interaction and life. And you say it in such a amazing way. So thank you for that. I think next we have Carl, who is going to be talking about achieving quality education and decent work.
Hi, my name is Carl. I'm 17. Hi, my name is Carl. I'm 17. I'm from Brooklyn, East New York. And it means a lot for me to work at the Kite and UNICEF because they teach me more about art, and UNICEF is a good opportunity to learn more about life. I choose to focus on STG, Stage 8, district work, and economics growth. I choose it to let kids know that instead of thinking about dropping out of school so early and doing things too quickly, to stay in school and look to graduate college. As soon as you graduate college, you'll understand what you want to do in life. Working on this project was fun, but also a lot of work. I had to make sure I got the art, the colors right, and perfectly sketched image. My painting represents a Black kid being successful. It's to show Black kids that if you have a goal to do a job, that your dream should stay focused on educational goals to get that job. My recommendation would be to start getting decision makers to educate, to let kids know about things they should be doing, the right things versus the wrong things they shouldn't be doing. Making sure they're chasing that dream, getting their goal to reach that achievement, to keep kids on track in education and work towards their goal. We need to communicate, support. We need to get parents involved and help them understand where they go if they follow their dreams. And Tupac once said, keep your head up. And I think kids should keep their head up and stay focused on the right path.
Thank you, Carl. I'm going to give everyone a moment to also take in the imagery, because there's, like with many of the art and music and poetry of our students, there's a lot of layers to it. So we will definitely be sharing this to everyone that joined, because the closer that you look or listen to these, the more you end up learning. And Carl, what I like that you said in your presentation is the importance of having role models and having visuals of for other young people. I think that we all know that often adults are not the biggest influence over kids and young people and youth. It's other youth. So I think that demonstrating and having the importance of role models cannot be underestimated. And I also really liked what you said as your recommendation in terms of what people should be learning in school. It's not just memorizing things for a test. School is also about learning to be a human and the life skills and the types of interactions and socialization that you need to be a success in life as you enter into adulthood. So I think that that's a really important point, that in addition to kind of what we might consider as traditional subject matters, you know, helping to teach right from wrong, and talking about these issues and having constructive and useful dialogues, I think is such an important part of our education. And it's something that, you know, we're missing a bit, especially in this last 18 months of the pandemic, where people are just sitting on Zoom. We're missing that human interaction and the life skills that we learn by being with each other. So really, really important message. I'm not sure, Isabel, if we're going to Joel. I know Joel has gotten another job, and I don't think that he could get out of work today, but he did write an amazing poem. I don't know if we're going to that now, Isabel, or if we're going to our next presenter who's here.
Sure. Gigi, let me know. Do you want to play Joel's video, or we can move to Caitlin, who I know is sitting in front of the kite interns right now?
So I see we have Caitlin on deck, ready to present. So why don't we go to Kate, and then we'll go back to playing the video of Joel's poem. So Kate, over to you.
My name is Caitlin Pritchard. I'm 21 years old, and I grew up in Illinois, and I moved to Brooklyn. Being a part of UNICEF's global and local platform, discussing major world issues with other youth inspires me, as well as my art. Looking deeper into issues gives my art deeper meaning. My project is focused on the sustainable development goal of climate change. In my painting, I was inspired to show on how something so beautiful can be slowly affected by mankind living on Earth. I included a warm glow on top, particularly to show the heat of the planet. Below the eye is its crying tears, symbolizing the melting of the caps and all the things affected by it: animals, plants, coral, and more. Floating in the water, I showed much trash. Littering affects the planet, releasing more greenhouse gases into the atmosphere when there's not much room for more. I made at the bottom, it's flooded, to show major damages from climate change in the melting caps and horrible storms that could lead to flooding. These things all together lays out a picture that's very eye-opening. My recommendation would be to tell decision makers to start going paperless, making stricter recycling laws around the world to reduce waste. I think it's important for UNICEF to listen to the youth, because younger voices can appeal to younger ears. We can influence each other if we have a platform to help. The youth of today are tomorrow's adults, and climate change will be our problem to fix.
Thank you so much, Kate. And I'm so glad that you did this video where you zoom in on all of the different elements. One of the things that I absolutely love about Caitlin's artwork, and she was part of our last internship cohort as well, is there's so many different details that you see that really capture all of the elements of the message that she's conveying through her art. So when you first look at it, you're like, oh, there's an eye. Oh, wait, it's the earth in the eye. And then you see all of the animals, the straws, and the, you know, different things, the newspaper headline about flooding, you know, in the water. There's just so many different layers. You capture it in such a beautiful way. And I think that you're reiterating also a really important message that we hear from young people, which is youth can best reach other youth. And so what UNICEF, you know, can do and does do and will continue to do is try to be a platform to help connect young people to other young people, to share your ideas, to share your music and your art. And as with last year, we'll be sharing this hopefully on the Voices of Youth website to be able to reach an even bigger audience. So amazing work, Kate. I think next we are going to Tuki, unless Gigi tells me otherwise. So Tuki, over to you.
My name's Tugi. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm 18, and it means a lot to me to work at the Kite, and it taught me a lot. Today I'm gonna be talking about peace and justice and how can make the world better. We need more cops training, more governments coming together, less guns, less violence. I made a project talking about Floyd Joy and a couple of other people that died. I was researching about the people that died recently. That's it.
Thank you, Tuki. I think that one of the things that we've talked about, particularly with all of you that have been working on Goal 16 on peace and justice, is the different sides of this issue. You know, nothing is one way or the other. So I think that some of you have talked about, you know, the problems with, you know, police and police brutality, but also recognizing that there is a need for police presence and in order to prevent violence, but that there needs to be much better training, much better dialogue between police and their communities, and a bit more recognition of that. So I really like how you guys explored throughout the course of our time together all of these different sides of the story and how it comes together in your artwork. So thank you, Tuki. I think that we also have Keem, who is also talking about peace and justice.
Yeah, Shannon, if it's okay, I think we're going to hop back a second just to give
Sure.
Joel's video and show it to everyone. I know he couldn't be here today because of his job. He's working full time now, but we did want to show off his poem, and he did create some a nice video to go with it. So
he did.
Show that
So
now.
yes, please play Joel's poem. Go ahead.
Waste must end. Enough with the bottles thrown into the subways. Enough with the plastic little wrappers under my feet, stuck from the gum someone threw down on the ground sometime last week. As it grows darker and darker within each step, enough with the engines burning so bright, lighting up the sky with carbon dioxide. Why does it feel like the garbage is millions of miles away, but yet is in the center of every crosswalk from here to Pelham Bay? It's right in my face, but yet I choose to walk away. Now my withering plastic travels, dismantling as it goes. The ecosystem, the economy, the communities, the ocean, and soon us people. Trash bins everywhere, garbage everywhere, street sweeping trucks blowing debris everywhere. Help. What help? Seems like no one cares. Stand up and fight for your community. Stop the waste.
So one of the things the first time that Joel read his poem for us during one of the weeks that we were working together is I thought of a presentation I had heard a couple of years ago from two young people who actually spoke at the High Level Political Forum this week. They live in Bali, and they started an organization that's now global called Bye Bye Plastic Bags. And they talked about their beautiful beach in Bali and having trash that was from literally across the world washing up on their beaches. And it just struck me when Joel was talking about this, he talks about kind of the local and what he's seeing right there on the street in his video. And we know that this ends up sometimes spread across beaches all around the world. So it really, to me, brought home the connectivity of all of us and how this is not just, you know, it doesn't respect borders. So, you know, what we do in our own lives affects the rest of the world. And I thought that that was a really important point from Joel's poem. So are we now going to Keem? Is that correct, Isabel?
I think Gigi is saying James is ready. He joined us, I think, on video. Is that right, James?
Great.
Yes.
Hi, James.
Good
Right, over to you.
afternoon. I could start?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. My name is James Martinez. I am 18 years old and I am from Manhattan. It means a lot to be a part of the UNICEF program. It has taught me a lot of skills that I would look forward to otherwise. I learned how to use Microsoft Word, Gmail, and Zoom. My sustainable development goal is number 18, peace and justice. I choose this goal because I was involved with the justice system. I was incarcerated when George Floyd was killed, so I was really looking into it because a lot of murders had happened in my area. So I was wondering how this came into play. We couldn't watch the news inside, so I did research. That's how I started learning about police brutality and defunding police. It's good and bad. We need the police in our neighborhood because there is a lot of conflict. Then again, some people don't want the police in the neighborhood. In New York, homicide rates has risen 32.2% since defund the police came up. So that's a lot of people losing their family because of one officer, one black man. But defund the police was a mistake. There are other ways to keep communities safer over policing. One thing I would say to people in power is be more open to investing in communities. We need more job programs and more schools. I graduated high school last month actually. Once I was incarcerated, I realized they can take your freedom, but not your knowledge. Whatever you know, you can use it. When I went in, I didn't know anything. I was a regular kid. I said, let me focus. I had only 13 credits, came out with 33. I was reading my rights, researching my case. I graduated high school with 50 credits, and I'm going to Arnold Dungeon Community College in Syracuse, New York this fall. I'm done.
Thank you, James. And one of the things that I was super excited about was James is heading up to Syracuse, New York, which is where I also went to college. So I gave him some tips, including how to stay warm because Syracuse is pretty freezing. What I really liked, James, about your presentation is the research that you did. Like you said, you were actually incarcerated at the time of George Floyd's death and didn't necessarily have access to all of the information that other people were seeing in the media. And I think that's really important. And just kind of recognizing, again, as I was saying with when Tukey presented, the different nuances and facets, like this whole knee-jerk reaction sometimes to things can have unintended negative consequences. At the end of the day, we want all neighborhoods to be able to be safe. And I think that that's really comes through in your art and in what you shared with us today. So thank you. Isabel, I'll let you come in since I'm not sure of the ordering anymore. So you can tell me.
So I think we have Keem up next, and I'm gonna go ahead and play his song first, and then we'll hear a few words from him about his music. So this is Keem Driddy.
Yeah, did that.
Gonna stop. Like when it's gonna stop? All this killing for no cops. I look on the news, another body get dropped, and another shooter get shot. Like please tell me when it's gonna stop. Like when it's gonna stop? Mother's crying all up with a snot. Like when it's gonna stop? When it's gonna stop? When it's gonna stop? I look on the news, and another body get dropped, and another shooter get shot. That shit happen a lot. Please tell me when it's gon' stop, when it's gon' stop, when it's gon' stop. Peace is what we need, no more gang violence and death. Police taking lives, I'm talking from right to left. Leaving families traumatized, the community's upset. Violence don't end to no violence, it expand them. These cops know I cannot stand them. Taking life and freedom from us so random. From us so random, and so bad these days. You gotta take out the camera, cause when you go to trial, that's gonna be your only answer. Cause when you go to trial, that's gonna be your only answer. Like when it's gonna stop, all this killing for no cops. I look on the news, another body get dropped, and another shooter get shot. Like please tell me when it's gonna stop. Like when it's gonna stop. Mothers crying all up with a snot. Like when it's gonna stop, when it's gonna stop, like when it's gonna stop. I look on the news, and another body get dropped, and another shooter get shot. That shit happen a lot. Like please tell me when it's gonna stop, when it's gonna stop, when it's gonna stop.
Another day, another body get dropped. Orders killing from the cops. You told on the top DT, you got the Glock on block. I cannot fuck with no dot. I spin the block. I'm in the drop. He got hit with the mop. He went to court for a case, and his charges still didn't get dropped. What the fuck are they doing with us? They bringing our society down. I had my face in the books, and they stood put a black man down. R.P. Trayvon Martin, R.P. George Floyd. Innocent people that got took by the cops. They play with the gun like it's toys.
Like when it's gonna stop, all this killing for no cops. I look on the news, another body get dropped, and another shooter get shot. Like please tell me when it's gonna stop. Like when it's gonna stop. Mothers crying all up with a snot. Like when it's gonna stop, when it's gonna stop, like when it's gonna stop. I look on the news, and another body get dropped, and another shooter get shot. That shit happen a lot. Like please tell me when it's gonna stop, when it's gonna stop, like when it's gonna stop. When it's gonna stop. Like when it's gonna stop.
Oh,
James, I don't know if you can
hello,
unmute and if you want to.
Huh?
hello,
Hi, go ahead.
hello,
Yeah, go ahead, Keem. We can hear you.
Oh, sorry. Keem.
hello. My name Keem. I'm 18, from the Bronx, and what UNICEF mean to me, for me, like another family, so that helped me mentally to develop myself and to make better decisions in life. And my project is basically on police brutality. For me, they keep killing us. For me, over situations that we don't deserve to be killed for, and how shooters get shot, like, and the whole gangbanging killers, we killing each other instead of working together. And
Keem, thank you so much. And you know, your song was amazing, and what I really like about your project and all of the projects is like how you internalize what you learned about the Sustainable Development Goals, which are these big, you know, kind of global, lofty statements, and really brought it to the absolute kind of personal level about how you feel, how mothers will feel if you know their child is a victim of violence, how you know the injustice that you see in day-to-day life or in your communities. And I think that's really important with the Sustainable Development Goals. I know for myself, when I first started to work on them, they changed my life. It wasn't just something that I did for my job. It really made me think about, you know, what I consumed, how I ate, you know, what I used in a day, and wanted to change my own behaviors so that I could help to achieve the goals. And I think that all of you guys have really internalized the messaging and expressed it so beautifully. I saw that Joel has let us know that he might have a break from his job in a few minutes. So Joel, we will be on standby. We played your video, but we'll let you come in when you have a break. And Isabel, you can tell me what we have up next.
Yeah, I think I see Darren here with us. Darren, are you ready to share a little bit about your project?
Darren, if you're speaking, you're still on mute. So we might not have Darren. As I said, some of our students have luckily now started other jobs. So sometimes they can't get a break, and just glad that you guys have even signed in and that we were able to show your different pieces, even if you can't speak about it. I think that's everyone for now, right, Isabel? So maybe what we'll do is take a pause and open up the floor for any comments or questions from some of the UNICEF colleagues that have joined us. So either raise your hand or unmute your mic. This is very informal, so welcome anyone to come in with any comments or questions for the students.
Hello? Oh, please keep going.
Darren, yes.
Hello.
Shannon, should I come in while we're waiting for Darren?
Yes, that'd be great, Megan. Thank you.
Great. Hi, everyone. My name is Megan. I work for the Public Partnerships Division, and just wanted to, really thank you for all of your work. And I think as within the previous presentation of the work that I saw, I think you guys really challenge us to think about how we communicate in an impactful way. And perhaps you as a younger generation have more facility with all of the different media. And I think this is just a snapshot, but the paintings, the songs, the poems, the videos, I think you just really show a great capacity to kind of capture people's both mind and spirit, and I think that's what's needed. And I thought there was a fantastic theme there of local action on global issues, and I think that's also what the SDGs is supposed to be about, in terms of being universal for everyone, not one part of the world, not just governments, but also business people. And I think you really displayed that well. And I always enjoy these sessions and do whatever I can to find time to join them, because they really do create an energy and enthusiasm. So wanted to thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Megan. Darren, I see that you need a few seconds until you can unmute yourself. So no worries, you can just let us know when you're ready to come in, and we'll continue with any comments or questions from the floor while we're waiting to hear from you. Oh, Joel, great. So Joel has gotten his 15-minute break. So Joel, we were able to listen to your poem about Stop the Waste, but would love to hear a little bit more about yourself and your inspiration. So go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear. What did you say about the poem?
I said we heard it. We played your poem, so everyone is familiar and saw the video. Very cool. So you can just tell us a little bit more about your inspiration and a little bit more about yourself and your recommendation for UNICEF or for decision makers. So over to you.
Okay. Well, I'm Joel Ocasio. I'm 22. I'm from Manhattan. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the second question.
Go ahead. Just talk about a little bit more about your inspiration for your poem and about yourself.
Okay. Well, I chose to focus on climate change, seeing over the past years of me growing up how much the climate has changed. Winter's coming earlier and taking longer to leave. I just realized that we need to step up and take action. I brainstormed to write my poem. It's a way that I express myself. And as I was doing research on the climate and pollution, I started seeing like images that wasn't really like good images, and it just pretty much like it just kind of like got to my head a little bit. So I started writing, comparing the pictures to my poem. And plus I was writing also about what I see in my daily life as well. And also my recommendation for you guys would be to bring more nature to the city. Instead of building more buildings, you can invest in more nature, more fresh air to the city. Another thing would be investing in sustainable technology to work with the environment, such as like solar panels and stuff. And that's pretty much most of what I had.
Thanks to all that's such a good recommendation. And I think in the US alone, Biden has proposed a $4 trillion infrastructure bill. I believe that's the figure. And we have an opportunity right now to build things back in a way that's greener, whether that's more green space, whether that's making our buildings more energy efficient, whether it's making, roads so that, nature can, cross safely. All of these different things can potentially be part of the infrastructure bill. So I really, again, love how you've seen the connection between what we need to do for the climate and the environment, and something that's very relevant and of the now, at least here in the United States, with updating of infrastructure and this window of opportunity that we have to really build things back in a better way and in a greener way. So thank you for that recommendation. And thank you for joining us from your job.
At the time, I ran to my phone, grabbed it, and it was like, "Oh, you can't use your phone." I was like, "All right, can I get a break?" And then,
Did you tell them that you're presenting to the United Nations and leaders at the United Nations?
No, but I guess they'd love to hear it after I come back from break. They went, "Oh, word?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Thanks for making time, Joel. So appreciated.
Thank you.
So maybe we'll go back to our questions and comments from the floor as we're waiting for Darren to also have a free minute to unmute himself. So welcome other colleagues to share any comments or questions.
I just want to give a quick shout out to say how much I enjoyed the presentation, how much the young people are inspiring, and how grateful I am that they had the chance for this wonderful experience. And I hope it stays with them through their lives and through as they go on to build their future. Thank you very much, all of them, and you for organizing, Shannon.
Thanks so much, Ben. And for the benefit of the students, Ben is one of our senior advisors in our communications division, and works on a lot of our global advocacy priorities and campaigns. And we used a lot what the students did last semester, because mental health is one of our global advocacy priorities, and that was what the students focused on last semester. So very much looking forward to how some of the art and music can also be used in our communications and advocacy work, Ben. So really happy that you were able to join.
Shannon, quick comment from my side.
Yes, Andres, thank you.
Yeah, so my name is Andres, and Shannon and I work together, and I'm really happy that I was part of this meeting. I was very inspired by everything that was said, and I was inspired to see the power of art, music, and poetry just to convey messages, and it's just such a more beautiful way of doing it and so much more powerful. So yeah, I've just had a great time. So thank you for that, and thank you for the messages. It's been fantastic. So congratulations to all of you.
Thanks, Andres, and thank you for joining us late in the day for you. Andres is presently working out of Europe, so it's definitely past hours for him, but I know that he was really excited to see the presentations, because I talk about you guys quite a bit when Andres and I have our weekly touch base. So really glad that you were here, Andres.
Good. Yeah, I feel I know this group pretty well, thanks to you, Shan. So that's nice.
I know we're getting close to 3 o'clock, but would welcome any other questions. And Darren, I want to give you your opportunity to have your time for unmuting. I see there might be a question here in the chat from Corey. Everyone did such great work. What was it like for the interns to work together, given that they come from all over the city? That's a really good question. And maybe we will turn it over to the room where a number of our interns are sitting together, as you guys can probably see, and over to you guys to maybe answer what it was like to get to know each other and to work together. Kite interns room, over to you guys.
How it felt working with them. It felt good and helped me be more productive, and learning that it's better to be proactive than reactive, because we all we all motivate each other and help each other out to get stuff done and what we need to get done. It's like if we need help, another person or another student will come in and give you advice and help you. So it was good to work with people, different people. That's good, because you need new surroundings sometimes. People that motivate you. I want to see you do good. So that's how I felt working with them.
Thanks. I think that was Ari, right? That was really, really good answer. And I know witnessing you guys, you would see you bounce ideas off each other, and it would inspire what you presented or talked about, or how your artwork or your song changed the next day. And it was really, really great to see that. We have one more question from the room, and then I see that Darren is going to be ready. So let me just ask the question to the room first, and then we'll head over to Darren. It's, have you been able to share what you have learned with family and friends? And if so, what are their reactions? Really good question from Jennifer. So maybe again, back to the room to answer that. How have your friends or family reacted if you've shared any of this with them?
Can I go? Is Darren gonna go? All right. Well, it's helped me express with my family, especially because my family doesn't really care about what they're doing. I correct them in some ways, and I guess they look up to me now because I'm a quiet person in the family. So me speaking up is just kind of shocking to them, but it's just put them in a healthier environment. So.
That's a really important, I think that was Brianna. It's hard for me to see with the little thumbnails. One of the things that UNICEF has learned since we started, it's been called behavior change communications, or C4D, is that one of the most impactful ways to change the behavior of a community, and in terms of also changing the behavior of adults in the community, is by educating children about the issues in schools. And then they bring it home and won't be afraid to speak up and call out and say, you shouldn't be doing this, or that's wasteful. And I think that that's such an important role for young people to play, whether it's with your families or with your friends. Some people just don't know or haven't really thought about some of these issues of no fault of their own. So I think that when we bring attention to it and also demonstrate it through our own behaviors, can have a huge influence and a huge halo effect on really creating social change. So really good point. Maybe we can go over to Darren, since I know he has just a short window of time to be able to present to us. And then I see a few more questions in the chat that we can go to. So Darren, over to you.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
We can.
Hello, my name is Darren McBride. I'm 20 years old and I'm born and raised from Bronx, New York. And today, the sustainable development goal that I'm focusing on is climate change and environment. The reason why I chose climate change and environment is because I feel like with the opportunity UNICEF has given me, I'm able to incorporate my creativity into a project. And I know everybody has put their hard work and time into the project. So for the subject of me speaking on what I would suggest for everybody to do is just speak proudly on what you've done, because I know everybody has put in so much work and so many hours, and you guys have been as creative as possible with all of your work. So everybody, great job on that. And I chose the recycling gym. I started the hourly rates at 1 recycled bottle per day, gaining knowledge on worldwide ozone levels across the coast. I was reading up on a NASA article and they had some type of act that they were given, but it said that they weren't given the instructions to do research on natural resources. So it means that, or what I read upon, or like the conclusion I came to from reading upon, is that they didn't really choose to focus on climate change. So I believe some of my other peers from UNICEF have spoken that this is kind of a topic where you don't really have too much information, or not the most solid information. The most time we go off of like geographic history. And I emailed Gigi and Kathy an updated project where I just talked about climate change, and I sent it through iMessage. So if it's possible to share that screen, that's another. It also has this recycling gym picture in it, but it's towards the end where I also made like a recycling gym flyer. And it's like a live looped video, and then I was elaborating on a little bit more of the climate change and environment research that I did. And I know, I mean, I'm not sure if we're really showing time, but I was going to speak about my experience with UNICEF. And I was going to say that I really appreciate being in UNICEF. This is our third cohort. And since the beginning of UNICEF, I've been able to take my creativity. And even if I'm just doing a random interview with my peers in UNICEF, we always are able to come up with the most creative topics and questions to be able to really mentally not like basically like have like a mental not blockade, but like a roadblock where in your mind you think about the question more and you want to elaborate on how you could take someone's art or someone's rap or someone's dialogue or story or speech or what they write and put it into your own creativity. So for all the creativity and all the opportunities in open space and the workplace and everything we've been given from UNICEF has just been helpful, because even if everyone has different topics, we're able to incorporate it into our own topics. And then I was going to ask again, did either you, Gigi, or Kathy get the message that I just sent or emailed to you too?
Darren, sorry, we just have to stick with this because the presentation was already put together. So
okay, no problem.
We'll stick with this one for now and maybe build on that one for the next.
Well,
hey, God, no
Darren,
problem.
I'll come in for a second here and thank you again. I know that you're still working on your idea a bit more, and happy to see the update. You can send it to Gigi or Kathy or Isabel or myself to take a look at as well. But what I really like about what you've put here is, you know, a lot of our focus has been on kind of creative expression, which is wonderful and amazing, but you're actually starting to try to think of a business plan and a business idea. And what's really important for achieving the SDGs, it's not something that is just the responsibility of the UN or of governments. The private sector has a massive impact on whether or not the SDGs are going to succeed or fail. So I really like that you're thinking kind of creatively about you know, a potential business or something that people like to do or need to do, you know, working out, and what that would look like in terms of the recycling gym or sustainability. I'm sure that there's a lot of different cool ideas. So I really look forward to you working out even more details of this business plan and sharing it with us.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys for allowing me to share and all the history that we have for UNICEF as well. So thank you for allowing me to share. And great job, everyone, as well who already presented, and great job to everyone who's about to present. Thank you, guys. Have a
Thank you,
great day.
Darren. Thank you.
No problem.
I'm just looking through the chat. One more question that came through from, let me see here. I think it was Ramesh, and he's asking, have you found this forum to be helpful in your day-to-day activities? Good question, Ramesh. So over to the interns room to maybe answer that. How do you feel like your day-to-day activities have been impacted by what you've learned, or what goal you chose to focus on?
I was going to share if nobody else has, and I was going to relate it to my sustainable development goal. Ever since I chose climate change and environment, I've been able to more precisely get my research done because of the apps and the websites and the links that I've been given, and make my projects more creative with the links that I've been given to incorporate my own photos or videos. And it also has made me, like, whenever I'm gaming or trying to schedule for gaming, or if I want to stream a certain amount of hours to have consistent days in a week or in a month where I want to stream pretty much every day, then I would like more precisely handle that in a way where I wouldn't necessarily need to jot it down, but I know, like, in the back of my mind, if I keep focus in my schedule, and like I try to incorporate the same hard work or the same work ethic that I have when I'm creating projects for UNICEF, or just thinking back to the talks that we had, or how creative I am in a workspace, if it's like the UNICEF office, then I feel like I'm able to just be confident in the research I'm getting, and the time I'm putting in towards the research, so that I could take that and my creativity and kind of put together my own work in a sense, because it is our own work.
That's good to hear. And I'm happy to hear that, Darren, that it inspires you outside.
And thanks again for letting me share as well.
Of course. Maybe back to the Kite interns room, if any of you guys have any reactions to that question, please.
Yeah, could you repeat that question?
Sure. It's around how your day-to-day activities, have you found this forum to be helpful in inspiring any of your day-to-day activities?
Since like we started working on our individual projects, I don't know about everybody else, but I definitely am like more aware of like the environment and the things I see on the ground and how it's like affecting what's going on every day. I mean, like every day I walk outside, so every time I walk outside I see the trash.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like eye-opening.
That's good to hear. And I think that one of the things that we talked about a lot is you don't need to, not everyone is going to be an activist whose intention is to change the world and be like the spokesperson for a movement. We need those people, and those people are fantastic leaders. But what's actually going to move the needle on achieving the SDGs is what each and every one of us do in our day-to-day lives, whether that's deciding to use a reusable bottle instead of plastic waste, or what Ari was saying about just being kind and empathetic and thinking before you do something that you can't take back. So it's all of these kind of day-to-day behaviors and human interactions that when all of us are doing something, it makes a massive difference. I'm going to just read a couple more of the comments. Especially I want the interns to realize that, like, when you present stuff today, we've got UNICEF colleagues that have worked all over the world and are going to work in different parts of the world. And I was happy to see this message from colleague Lely, who I've worked with here in New York, but right now is supporting the UNICEF Ghana communications team, and they're developing a new internship program. And that what we've done here is inspiring them to think about how to widen the pool of candidates. So I want you guys to also realize that you inspire other parts of UNICEF to think about, well, how can I find interns that might not fit the typical intern profile where I'm working in Ghana, or I'm working in Uruguay or wherever people happen to be. So your stories and your work has a big impact on affecting some of our other programs in our other countries. So I'll just open the floor one more time for any final inputs or comments or questions, but then I think that we'll close it up. So one last call for any comments or questions from any of our UNICEF audience members. I think that we've seen a lot, and hopefully everyone's had a chance to read the chat. We did do a recording of this, so I will definitely share it around. Oh, I see one message down here. But universally, congratulations, and how people are so inspired by your work and your talents, and you know, all of us, I think, are busy at work, and we're zoomed out. Sometimes we're on meetings starting at 7 o'clock in the morning all the way until the afternoon. And this is such a breath of fresh air. And it also reminds us like why we do what we do. So I want to say thank you to all of you for you know, reminding us in a very real way why we do what we do, and how you've grown and learned things and are you know, changing your own behaviors, influencing your peers and your family, and that's what's going to make the difference. So